Coming up on Point Spread Weekly, powered by the Vegas Stats and Information Network. We want to make you a better handicapper, and we've got plenty of sports wagering information to get you ready to take action this weekend. Join VSiN's betting experts and odds makers as they discuss sides, totals, money lines, props, and parlays so you take sharper action. Cashing tickets is what it's all about. It's Point Spread Weekly, powered by VSiN, and it starts right now. VSiN welcomes all of you to Point Spread Weekly, our weekly sports betting show designed to make you a smarter handicapper. Whether you like to take action on games seriously or recreationally, VSiN has the news you need to win 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We'll spend the next half hour highlighting our best and most relevant information for you, the bettor, so you can cash more tickets come Monday, because cashing tickets is what it's all about. Let's start with my weekday afternoon show, My Guys in the Desert. Hope's right in the middle of his madness. Never met a basketball game he didn't love at the collegiate level.
No.
And, of course, tomorrow. Give me a bit of an overview from your perspective. Very chalky, obviously. The top seeds have moved on. Surprised? Not surprised. What's your feeling, Hoops?
I thought we would see a little bit of chalk with the 1 and 2 seeds. I thought that pretty much all of those would advance. I thought we would see a little bit more chaos with like the teams out there and like the 3-4 team matchups. I thought we would see maybe a couple more teams that are right around that 6-7 seed range be able to pull off upsets. But with that said, I did think that the top 8 teams and the rest of the field, there was a pretty big divide there. So I'm not surprised that we're seeing a lot of those favorites being able to make the Sweet 16.
All right. Now, you've been deeply involved, obviously, as we all have, in March Madness. Will you be engaged in the openers tomorrow, or are you going to sit back and wait before you fire on MLB?
Oh, I think I'll probably be engaged in a few. But, I mean, once March Madness comes on, I'm not going to be watching much baseball. But listen, the money spends the same way, and if you can find value in baseball, then that's a great thing. The only question for me is, and I think I speak for a lot of bettors who do things by models. Baseball is the most statistically oriented sport. At some point, we're going to have to remove our brains from that kind of construct and sort of bet baseball in a different way if this becomes such a different animal than it used to be. I just think that's something people have to be cognizant of.
Okay, so we've been talking about season totals. Of course, every book in town has the individual teams' numbers up there, whether they're going to go over and are going to go under, what kind of a year. And even over at the Superbook and of the Westgate, you pick every over-under. They've got a big pool. And my guy here, Mike Palm, he loves it. Kaluch loves it. He's a big New York fan. When we look at the cream up on the top, okay, and last year I believe we had 3 teams surpass the 100-win mark. Which teams, Kevin, do you think are most likely to win 100 games this year in Major League Baseball?
I think it could be the same teams. You're talking about the Boston Red Sox, the New York Yankees, and the Houston Astros are still as good as they were last year. In fact, I think the Yankees are actually better. Their bullpen is so dominant. I think they got a chance to win 100 games again. Boston, they don't quite have the bullpen that they did last year, but that could change as time goes on before the July deadline. But their lineup's intact. They could also win 100 games.
Opening night. The Chicago Bears will host the Green Bay Packers on Thursday. That's right, okay. They celebrate an anniversary with one of the greatest rivalries in the history of sport. The Packers are in Chicago. And, yes, Johnny Avello just put out a 4. That's a 4, okay. The Bears are favored at home by 4. We've got our first spread of the regular season, Vinny and Mike.
How about that? 4.
4. That's kind of surprises me. I thought it would be 3.
Yeah, well,
they're picked to have like the same number of wins, the same odds to win the division. Then Minnesota, it's a coin toss on all those 3.
Bears, stronger team.
Move to New Jersey, get that DraftKings app, and you can bet it. You can take the Packers in 4. All right.
So our friends at DraftKings have the game now at 3.5. FanDuel still has it at 4.
With the Bears?
The Bears and the Packers.
The Bears and the Packers, yep.
So money coming in on the Packers at the 4.
Yeah, I would think so. Yeah. Not around here, though. I know, they'll shade the number up because of the Bears.
We
Bears
talk about basketball and March Madness and chaos and all this. One football game comes up and bada bing, it gets attacked. I'll tell you, King football, there's no doubt about it. You can listen to me and my guys in the desert weekdays at 3 p.m. on Sirius XM 204 and watch us on VSiN.com and Fubo TV. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more of VSiN's Point Spread Weekly. Cashing tickets is what it's all about. It's Point Spread Weekly, powered by VSiN. VSiN's morning show, Follow the Money, led by Mitch Moss and Polly Howard, is a network favorite across the country. They provide a daily blend of sports betting talk and pop culture and chemistry. It's unrivaled in the industry. Let's take a look at what these wise guys were up to this week.
You have thought of everything, and you were a great host on Friday and a great time had by all. Well, at least most. Well, we'll get to that in a second. How about the fact that you had fish as part of because there was an incident what happened last year with
I said this. We started this 7 years ago. I guess this was our 8th. We did it in 2012 in the ballroom, and it was just me and a porter and a cocktail waitress and 4 big screens, right? And then it's developed to the 600 people a day with 4 table games and all that. But I said this when we added food the second year. They said, well, we have the ACI, the Coney Islands. They got the wings, the hot dogs, the nachos, this, that, and the other. And we had some another vendor at the time. I said, on Fridays during this event, we always have to have fish. You're exaggerating that. I said, no. The Catholics will only eat fish, and we're going to turn away business. So the first year we didn't have it. St. Patrick's Day actually fell on that Friday. I mean, Notre Dame played that day too. Everybody walked into the ballroom with a green shamrock shake and a fillet of fish bag from McDonald's. We lost all that business because we didn't have fish. So now every year we always have the fish and chips on Friday in the ballroom.
Good move. I love how you guys can scramble, by the way.
How about the move with the cash at the bars when the ATMs went down?
That's where I was going with this.
I talked about that in our meeting. That kid had David Rossboro's his name. He's getting promoted to vice president. He'll be on the same level as me here coming up in April. He came up with this move of let's get the cash at the bars. We'll let them run their credit card as a purchase. Instead of giving them $500 worth of alcohol, we'll give them the cash and no fee.
No charge.
They beat the fee. The fees are ridiculous to begin.
Sure,
but they beat the fee.
For those that don't know, okay, so it wasn't just a problem down there. It was like citywide. It was the entire strip. All ATMs were down for, I don't know, half of a day?
It was over 3 hours. It was a problem with Every and a server, and it didn't respond or whatever. But
I guess sportsbooks were having trouble putting in some bets, too.
Yeah.
Certain sportsbooks.
They were.
It's weird.
They were for down for over an hour, a couple of them. But he had a great idea. But that's our ability as a small company that's not a corporation. We have the ability to scramble.
Yeah.
At a big corporation, they'd have had to put that through 4 committees to make that. It doesn't no sense to it. You can't get it done quick enough.
And then moving forward, so 12th floor is where you guys had it this year. But you brought us out in the balcony and that downtown event center that you guys have right outside, which I've been to for a concert. It's a great venue.
What concert did you go to, Mitch?
I went to
Can you remember?
Shine Down Godsmack.
Okay.
Probably back in October, whenever it was.
Yeah.
Good concert. But you want to have the March Madness out there.
We're going to do both. We'll have the ballroom. People will have a choice because they love those man caves up there but we'll also have it outside for 4 days, and we'll make a big push to get everybody on our app for Circus Sports during that. That's going to be a thing. You can go to the outside party. You got to download the app, and it's free of charge. You just pay for the food and beverage. We'll have tables. If you want to reserve tables, it'll be like a $50 beverage minimum. But think of the weather. Think of how the weather is in March and being out there.
Great.
And I mean, if it takes off, we can put 6,000 people out there like we do for the Super Bowl.
Mike Palm from the D, VP. With the Circle Las Vegas coming soon. I was on the website last night. The video's outstanding. I make one of us minus $7 to get arrested when that thing opens. The jail's right down the street. What do you say?
Well, who's the favorite there? After Friday, it might be a pick'em. I mean, this guy.
It'll happen.
I don't know what happened to him.
I don't know. It's embarrassing.
I brought him.
I was winning all of my bets. It was great.
3 blue moons. Okay, starts out around
I asked
noon.
you for a Peroni. You let this guy. You bring a director's chair up for him. You say he can watch the games in a row if he wants in front of everybody else. I asked for a Peroni. No, he can't have it.
Here's the thing. It's a lot in the presentation, Mitch. He said, "Is there any way I could get a chair?" He didn't ask for a director's chair. He didn't demand anything. I brought him a nice chair. You said, why isn't there this Italian beer? It's a ballroom. You think we're going to have an Italian beer on tap in a bar? I'm surprised it's at the Long Bar.
Now you're misleading the public here.
Anyhow,
I don't care for this.
I'm exaggerating, 3 Blue Moons and 3 vodka sodas, and he became catatonic. He couldn't walk. He couldn't talk.
Something funny happened there.
He tried to enunciate a word.
I think.
Then a porter came to me. He says, "Hey, what's with your friend?" He's bouncing. He's like a pinball machine trying to find the bathroom in the hallway.
I left my drinks open with a lot of people there. I don't know what happened.
The phone's sitting on the table. His wife's texting him. It just keeps buzzing. He's ignoring his wife. It's her birthday weekend. He says he's going to take an Uber like 7:30. 10:30, he's down on the second floor wandering around, talking to himself. Says he ate at Andiamo and had chicken wings. Here, I brought an Andiamo menu.
No, I never said that at all.
Yes. Can you show us where chicken wings are on this menu?
No, again,
no, seriously.
Now it's just, okay, I'll sit here and take this, but it's all total lies. I had the chicken wings, jackass, that you talked about in the 12th floor, the ballroom.
Chicken wings at Andiamo.
And they
Where's
were
the
fantastic.
chicken wings?
I said, what are you going to eat? He said, I said, what are you going to eat? He said,
so let's move on. He says,
how did he order?
I
He
don't
couldn't
know.
talk.
I don't. Maybe he wrote it down.
You saw me eat the chicken wings in the ballroom area.
Paulie says you told him he had chicken wings at the
No,
Andiamo.
I had the chicken
I got
wings
that
there.
from Paulie. I believe Paulie on it. If that's incorrect, I blame Paulie, but I doubt he ever lies about anything.
Good. This is like a game of telephone now all of a sudden.
Yeah, it is. Tell 20 people.
You can listen to Follow the Money with Mitch and Paul weekday mornings from 4 to 7 a.m. and 9 to noon on Sirius XM 204 and watch them on VSiN.com and Fubo TV. We'll be right back with more of VSiN's Point Spread Weekly right after this. Stick around. Cashing tickets is what it's all about. It's Point Spread Weekly, powered by VSiN. Some sports bettors, like me, bet with their gut, but others use a more measured approach. Gil Alexander is one of those people. He has one of the most unique perspectives on betting in the industry. His show, A Numbers Game, takes a more analytical approach to sports betting by exposing, analyzing, and targeting key data in handicapping the games. Let's see what he's been cooking up in the laboratory this week.
Theme of this segment, Jeff, as it turns out, is going to be people who think they're smarter than they are. People who think they're smarter than they are. It's like a Jeopardy category. First of all, before we get into that, and this kind of leads into it, let me show Sam Panayotovich over at SP Shoot here. Our friend Sam Panayotovich, VSiN's own, tweeted this ticket out last night. What a hit, Sam says. An Aria better just cashed a 9-team moneyline parlay for almost $78,000. And there it is on the right side of the screen. All money lines. It's a moneyline parlay. The bet was for $15,000 for a payout of $62,000 plus. So just over 4-1. Gonzaga, Virginia, Duke, Tennessee, Carolina, Houston, Oregon, Vatech, and Michigan State. 9-team moneyline parlay, 15 large for a profit of $62,810.85. So Sam tweeted that out last night. So I am here to tell you, if you're a avid numbers game listener, you've heard me refer to my buddy E. My buddy E, maybe 100 times on the show. That's him. He is the man behind that ticket right there. Now, what I'm getting at here is not, hey, way to go, E. But what I'm getting at is if we actually, the part that we probably should have shown is the comments that Sam's tweet got. And by the way, good for Sam for getting this. I don't know how he got this. But the comments were largely devoted to people, not devoted to, but just happened to be people who were like, oh, yeah, big deal. 4-1 parlay. Way to go. I mean, if I had $15,000. So here's the thing. I get it. You may not have $15,000. You may not have 10. You may not have 5. You may not have 1. But like for all the people, and it was more than half the people, Jeff, who were like going after, oh, well, big deal. So the theme of A Numbers Game, which is an analytics-based show, and for as many sophisticated bets as we do, one of the things that I always drive home is what you think is square is not nearly as square as you think it is. You're not as smart as you think you are poo-pooing such things. So yes, I get it. You may not have 15,000 to throw at something like this, but the guy that you're the guy that you're sort of dismissing making this bet, listen to me now closely. Listen to me. I'm going to say it very quietly. Is the most successful sports bettor I know. Period. So while you're criticizing bets like that, and you're like, oh, money line parlay, 9-team, just know that that's part of a successful sports bettor, the most successful sports bettor I know. That's part of his arsenal. And so that's what I really want to get across to people. And there's going to be a couple other examples of this just that we go through where I'm just like, you think you're smart, but you're too cool for school. So, yeah, it's not the amount. You're right. That's not for everybody. But it's the fact I would ask these people who are criticizing, did you make that bet for $500? Did you make it for $100? Did you make it for $50? All I'm saying is don't criticize what you think is square because successful bettors do all kinds of stuff. Let me take my day, for example, yesterday. Jeff, do you know what I was on the wrong end of yesterday? Let me list some things I was on the wrong end of. Jeremy Lamb's 47-foot haul for the Charlotte Hornets that beat the Toronto Raptors. I had the Raptors money line in certain vehicles yesterday. I lost on that. You know what else I had? I had UCF +7 in the first half. Do you know how many times in that game Duke was up by 8 points? Exactly twice. One of which was right at halftime. So lost that. I also lost on Tennessee, who were up 25 points in their game early yesterday against Iowa. And we know how that collapsed. They barely won the game. Had to go to overtime to win it. So I was on the wrong end of all of those things. But you know what made me have a winning day? A mere, the casual bettor, you lose those three outcomes, you want to kill yourself. Here's what made me have a winning day. Supposedly square stuff like you just saw on the screen. Not nearly to that extent, admittedly, right, mind you. But all I'm saying is don't be so judgmental. Let's not get to the point in sports betting where you think we always talk about how, the casual bettors have gotten smarter over time. That pendulum has swung too much in some respects. So I just want to say, let's not be too judgmental about that.
You can listen to A Numbers Game with Gil Alexander weekday mornings from 7 to 9 a.m. on Sirius XM 204 and watch him on VSiN.com and Fubo TV. Don't go anywhere. Point Spread Weekly continues right after this. Cashing tickets is what it's all about. It's Point Spread Weekly, powered by VSiN. A betting edge is any knowledge a player employs to gain an advantage over the bookmakers. It takes skill, patience, and proper money management to overcome these odds. And on VSiN's weekday afternoon show, The Edge, our hosts find advantages to separate recreational sports bettors from sports investors. Let's check in with Matt Humans, Jonathan Von Tobel, and Sam Panayanovich with The Edge.
So Sean wants us, our esteemed producer, to pick both AL, NL pennants, and World Series winners. So we'll start with the pennants. Is there music or anything, or are we just doing this, Sean? I know you're
We're
very
just
big.
doing it. We got music later in the show.
More
okay. Production later in the show.
All right. Sean's very big on production and bells and whistles, so I had to double check. So let's start with the pennants. I think National League pennant, obviously very intriguing. You have the NL Central, which is extremely deep. You have the NL East, which is almost just as deep. So what are you going to do with the National League pennant? I'll throw it to you first. I had a tough time, but there was one team that I selected. I really like what they did in the offseason.
I wonder if we're talking about the same team.
We might be.
My team to win the National League pennant will be the No. Wait a minute. Let me change my pick.
No, I really did like what the Padres did.
I'm going to go with the St. Louis Cardinals to win the National League. St. Louis Cardinals to win the NL.
Wow.
What's your pick?
That was one of the two that I was debating. It was the Cardinals or the Nationals, and I went with the Nationals. I think the Washington Nationals.
They got to win a playoff series first. They haven't won one yet. Right?
They do, and I picked them last year.
You think getting rid of Harper might help the Nationals?
It might. Okay. Addition by subtraction, right? And it doesn't help to have a guy bat 243. Look, I think this team.
Yeah, that's a really good division. Mets, Braves,
Yep.
Phillies. That's a loaded division.
But you look at this team, the rotation is going to be awesome, right? Scherzer, Strasburg, you add Corbin, which I think is going to be a dynamite addition. I think when you add, they just look, from a talent perspective, they have a lot going on. They shored up the back of their bullpen last year. I think offensively, they're going to be just as deep. Like, yes, Harper, I think you'll miss him to a certain extent. But like I said, he was also extremely inconsistent. So you have guys like Soto in that lineup who are young. Like, I just really like what this team has. I think they're just very even-keeled from top to bottom and very consistent. I'll take Washington. I think right now, to win the NL pennant, they're about 4-1. To win the World Series, they're in the range of 12-1. But I think Washington to win the National League, I'm in. I still think they're the best team in that division.
All right. Yeah, I'm not all in on the Dodgers. Just, we've already seen Clayton Kershaw with some issues here in the spring. If Kershaw doesn't hold up, the Dodgers pitching staff's going to be in a little bit of trouble. I love what the Cardinals have done. They got so much good young pitching. You bring in Paul Goldschmidt.
Yep.
I love this team anyway last year, especially after the managerial change. They played a lot better baseball. Win total is at 89 for the Cards. That's one I do like over. I think the Cardinals are a 90-plus win team. We're going to win that division better than the Cubs and Brewers, and I like the Cards to win the National League.
All right. I can't disagree. Like I said, that was my second team. You look at what they've done from top to bottom. The additions are absolutely phenomenal.
All right, so I got the Cards, and you've got the Nationals.
Yep. American League, where are you going?
American League's tough because I'm a Yankees fan. You hate the Yankees. I have some questions about the front end of the Yankees starting staff. I mean, Masahiro Tanaka is going to be your opening day starter because you've already got injuries.
They're really banged up coming out of spring training.
I mean, Luis Severino, that's bad news. He's probably going to miss a month.
Didi Gregorius isn't going to be available until the summer, probably.
But I think they'll be fine offensively and defensively. The Yankees got a lot of depth and a lot of talent, and their bullpen is just loaded. Not crazy about the manager. Aaron Boone was nowhere near as good as Corral was last year with the Red Sox, but Red Sox have definitely regressed. They're not as good as they were last year when you look at that team on paper. I think it's between the Yankees and the Astros. Indians are going to win the Central, should win that easily. So I'm going to say the Red Sox are the wild card, and I give the Yankees a slight edge over the Astros to win the American League. I love the A's, but I don't think the A's are going to do it back-to-back years, and their pitching staff looks like it could be a little bit of a mess right now.
Yeah, this one was tough, and it was. For me, it came down to, because I agree with you, I think the Red Sox take a step back this year. Like we've seen this team too, a little bit of issue in terms of the backstop at catcher. That's going to kind of be a hole in their lineup. Not the strongest corners either. So I thought, all right, it's going to be Yankees or Red Sox. I really like the Yankees or Astros. Really like the Yankees bullpen. But the Astros have just been there, man, and the rotation is good. I think Brantley in left field is a sneaky good acquisition if he can stay healthy, because that's been his issue. The guy's really top tier, like in terms of high 200 average. He can hit 300 if he wants to. I think he's going to be a solid addition to that lineup. And I like the bullpen. I'm going to go with the Astros. I think the Astros are going to be the American League.
Can't really argue.
You can listen to The Edge with Matt, John, and Sam weekday afternoons from noon to 3 p.m. on Sirius XM 204 and watch them on VSiN.com and Fubo TV. We hope you enjoyed this week's show. Make sure to go to VSiN.com and learn more about betting on sports and find out how you can watch us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll see you next week. And remember, cash and tickets is what it's all about.